Shalom, Ambazonia.
Ambazonians, everybody, may we wake up. While we go the phone and hungry, blow the flow for homeland. No be time for sit back.
Good morning, the people of the United Nations Trust Territory of the British Southern Cameroons.
How we go the phone and hungry, genocide their homeland. No be time for sit back. No be time for fight back. No display for what's up. May we raise our fists up.
Today na day number 3 for lockdown Ambazonia.
Who's gonna free our homeland? Don't wait for no one. Every day now, homeland is murder. Let's get out of.
Good citizens of Ambazonia. Today na number 4 day for September, Wednesday, 2019. My name na Capo Daniel. This one na my daily podcast for una. Today, we dey na inside number first week for the 2 weeks lockdown we did for Ambazonia. The 2 weeks lockdown was as a result of a law passed by the interim government and the governing council of Ambazonia. The ghost town was a consensus between the forces on ground zero and the political leadership of the Ambazonian War for Independence. The school boycott will be started 3 years ago as a strike action by the civil society movement led by Agbobala and declared by Patasang Wilfred, then become a symbol of rejection of the colonial regime of Yaoundé. While all Ambazonia did not agree for the need for education of our Pikindem, due to the declaration of Ambazonia sovereignty, the issue concerning school resumption is non-negotiable, as it not be possible for Ambazonia forget its independence while a Pikinde go to study for a curriculum will be dictated by the colonial regime for Yaoundé. With the dynamic control that the Ambazonian political leadership have in Ambazonia, with the Ambazonian forces on the ground, people there I never yet be clear, but school will never ever resume in Ambazonia so long as we have fighters on the ground, because the school system now a symbol of La République du Cameroon, their control over our territory. The sooner people then go realize, the sooner the educational system, the civil society, the churches they go realize, then they go make the right decision. We don't see how the British Southern Cameroon resistant forces and the ADF, they don't open some few schools them for ground zero community school them. That is the way forward. We are interviewed Dr. Ayabacho regarding this reality will be important for our people for start get this conversation. Wanna listen.
It's a kind of chaos that we have observed in the past. We had designed a program where you can have local population constituting themselves to provide some level of education to our pupils. Early education is good for reading and writing. And so I am concerned with this particular lack of early education for our children. I know my defense secretary has been doing a lot of mobilization within the area. I think of Ngoki Tungia. I've spoken to commanders. We've recruited 3 teachers that we think can do some work. I think it is necessary for this comprehensive educational policy and to also work with UNESCO, because if the international system believes that the right to education is important, and I think they will work with the new political authority of the land to help our effort in providing this elementary education to our children. And so we will be working away with UNESCO to see that this happens. I know there is a misconception that, we don't want our children to receive education. No, we don't want our children to go into unsafe blocks and schools that are sometimes being used as military bases by the occupying regime. We don't have the kind of propaganda and media exposure that Yaoundé has. And we have seen sometimes from captured videos, military burning down chiefs' palaces, sitting around Sacred Heart and torching that institution down. We are aware of students of the University of Boya protesting peacefully and shouting no violence, and that same evening students were raped in their hostels. So we are dealing with a criminal enterprise that has carried out systematic impunity on our people, and we cannot assure the security of our people. Human right is interdependent, indivisible, and you cannot prioritize the right to Cameroon's version of going to school against the right to life and security. I also want to let our people know that we are working hard to make sure we design a curriculum of education that is responsive to the need of our people in the 21st century, and that an Ambazonian transitional authority or government will provide free education, fast-track education for all those who've missed years, and we'll work with our international partners, to use, the availability of internet, to speed up, education within our communities. In the next 1 year, I am definitely very sure that the dynamics on the ground will change. It will basically change. They should have trust in what we do and have a little more sacrifice, to guarantee us that possibility. And lastly on this, what Cameroon is doing is deliberate. Cameroon knows they've lost it. Cameroon, that claimed political authority over us, has been unable, as you said, to have its administrators within our country. It has been unable, to politically govern us. It has been unable to reopen their schools to intoxicate our people with their version of education. And with this reality, Cameroon is struggling hard, to push students back to school, to show the world that it has normalized the situation and to stop international intervention. Once Cameroon can show that it has normalized the situation and is willing to resolve the issue, there will be no need for the international community to be involved. And so we should be very careful with what Cameroon is doing.
That one be Bina Dr. Yabacho Lucas, the leader of the governing council of Ambazonia, the revolutionary leader of Ambazonia. So basically, La République du Cameroon, the one used the school for demonstrate for the international community a sense of normalcy and control over our territory. After the declaration of independence, it maybe go take 1 year, 2 years before people go realize the declaration of restoration by Seseko Ayoktabi holds, and it will be defended till every Ambazonian will either live or die in freedom. We shall not and we will never allow La République du Cameroon to open schools, educational facility, administrative offices in Ambazonia. That will never happen unless every Ambazonian male or every Ambazonian force is eliminated. It would take only genocide, in the words of Honorable Weber, for La République du Cameroon to control our territory or open schools in Ambazonia. The alternative, as Ayabacho talk, now for UNESCO for step in and create international school, create buffer zone for Ambazonia, for able for our Pekin to enjoy their right of education. From our understanding and information we get them from the British Southern Cameroon forces and allied and coalition forces with the ADF, the UNESCO have already paid some visit for some schools and where Ambazonian forces that allow me open. Where those schools be in line with Ambazonian statehood and respect the right of Ambazonian self-education. That is the way forward. We encourage the churches for drop down Cameroonic curriculum and open schools for our Pekin them, may they enjoy the right of education. Understandably, those schools will be permitted because we don't see for area the way Ambazonian forces they control them. Some schools that be allowed for open under certain conditions for make sure say protect our right of self-education as well. Other platforms as well as the media in La République will not tell you this, of course. The revolution shall not be televised. Fellow good people of Ambazonian, we must be resilient. We are in the crossroad of our revolution. The international community, they observe what it go on. More importantly, our people, the need for assert themselves, their right of education and self-education, as well as their right of self-determination for all area them for life. I hope the civil society and the entire population and the churches, they go come to this fact that it is a fact and a matter of law and right. Ambazonia then declare restoration of its independence and sovereignty already. Any school open in Ambazonia by La République du Cameroon or authorized by La République du Cameroon in Ambazonia is a violation of our territorial integrity, and as such will be closed by Ambazonian forces. We encourage all the leading factions the Ambazonian Governing Council and the interim government, where they don't take the lead for stand for the aspiration of the people, for come up with a comprehensive education plan for Ambazonia, would appeal and would continue for support the international diplomacy, for call on the United Nations to deploy peacekeeping forces to create a buffer zone for Ambazonia children them for go for school and learn how to read and write under normal circumstances, not under La République du Cameroon, their educational system. La République du Cameroon, their forces them for school campus, they make those campus them a battleground, not only about the security situation. The whole school itself is an issue of conflict, because the school then being under La République du Cameroon, their ministry. We call on all the forces then where they be involved for the dynamic control of Ambazonia, for get into negotiation with the political leadership on the policy on which certain schools, community schools, can be allowed to function under revolutionary wartime policies. Education now a right for all Ambazonia, in particularly for the most poor and people where they stay for villages. Them that right need to be respected as much as those people where they get money for send their picking for abroad for La République for go study. We'll get a moral authority, we'll get a moral duty. Say as with the campaign for the school boycott, we will provide alternative for guarantees we will respect the right of education for all Ambazonia children. We want to reiterate our population and our forces, they need to understand as their commander, they don't they don't take instructions, so they go inform all forces them. School boycott no mean an attack for education for picking them. Picking them get right for education where no man of it stand against them. We go respect right for picking them for educate, but we go fight the same time for push La République du Cameroon, their educational system out of Ambazonia. Make no man ever attack school picking. Mean no man ever attack teacher on the name for Ambazonia revolution. That one will be a crime against Ambazonia, and you will be held responsible sooner or later. For win this war, we will not go fit do political persecution for our own people them. We understand say during the time for war, certain civil liberties then be limited, but we must put our people first, put Ambazonia first, and make sure that this collective struggle it will be won collectively. And our people they need to realize, so we need for whole hand, all man, whole grass together for make sure say we go attend our independence the quickest time possible. Will be determined by how sooner we realize the reality and we stand together for one thing we all man that agree for. Ambazonia no fit continue with the relationship with La République under this colonized status quo. Make we hold grass. This first 2 weeks for September, na lockdown. Make no man no come outside because it be linked with diplomacy. Make we stand strong for show the war, so don't reject La République du Cameroon completely. Make all man shidong for us for the first and second week for September, Monday to Friday. May we hold grass. May our revolution and war for independence be short-lived. May independence, freedom, democracy, civil liberty be in an independent Ambazonia forever. God bless you. Capo Daniel, signing off.
Raise a fist up, how we go the 400 genocide the homeland. One day we go fly, one picking there for Amberland. One day we go fly. One day we go fly, one picking there for